So we
Yes.
have example of the student details progress generator. So earlier everything it was hard coding and we are showing in the console. But from now we are not going for anything static data. We are all taking the data from the user dynamically through the input elements. It's not through prompt method and all. And while showing the data, we are not using the console to show the data, but we'll be showing within the page itself. Okay. So these are the changes what we have added yesterday, and I asked you guys to work on the employee details. So anyone facing any challenges, or you could able to do that?
I can do that, but I have a question actually.
Mhm.
My requirement is I have a button. When I click the button, the page automatically reloaded. How can I do that?
So when you click on the button reloaded, I mean, what type of reloading you want?
Automatically page reloaded.
I mean, the complete page has to be reloaded.
Yeah, yes, sir. Complete page.
Okay, there is something called as window dot load. Okay, I will talk about that. I will show you. There is something called as window dot load method, which will completely refresh the page.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Raja, I have been unable to work it, sir. Okay, sure, Raja. Whenever you get some time, you make sure you do it out. And if you have questions, please let me know. Okay. So the topic for today is let us generate a complete web page as a dynamic web page. So yesterday, what we are doing is we were creating a form element and we are reading the data from the user. We are using the JavaScript to process it and showing the data back to the user. So what if like complete page has to be generated dynamically? Okay, so that's what we are going to discuss now. Before that, yesterday we have even seen the concept of external CSS and external JavaScript files, right? So from today, I mean from yesterday itself, it is recommended we are not going to combine the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code into the same file, but we are going to make it as a separate. Okay, so we always make use of a separate HTML and separate CSS and separate JavaScript. Okay, this is strictly recommended, guys. Okay. Okay. So let us come back to today's guy. Let me create a new file. Let me say it as dynamic product data.html. Okay, so under this, let us create a page. So first of all, let me create a static product details page, and we see the problems what you have with the static product details, and we will be converting the same guy into the dynamic. Okay, so let's do the same. So let me say dynamic product details. Okay, so let me create a simple UL tag under that li. Okay, I will say this li. Okay, I'll say class product details container. Okay, I'm going for an external CSS now. I'm not writing the CSS over here. I say product app.css. Control S. Close others. Okay, so let's create a separate page here and save this guy. Control S. Product app.css. Okay, I create a external JavaScript code here. src is equal to app.js. Okay, so the first thing is okay, let us say product details container under that li, everything should be float left. I want all the li to be next to each other. I would like to give some border of 1 pixel solid hash UCC. I say some height of 300 pixel and width of 250 pixel. Okay, let us see how it is getting rendered. Right click on this, open the default browser. This is how it is coming. I will say list style as none. Okay, no bullet symbols. Reload this page. This is how it is. And background color hash is okay. So whenever I mouse over on this, this is how it is changing. Okay, now under this li, I would like to go with one of the individual product details. Okay, so I will go with another URL tag, under that another li. Okay, so now I say simply test here. Now if you reload this page, this is what the problem is. If you see, the inside li is also taking the same properties as like an outer li. So the problem what we have given is, we have given product details container, all the li elements which are under product details container has to have this. So instead of this, if I put a greater than symbol over here, if I put this, now if you come back and reload the page, you see only the outer li is going to get it. So what do you mean by this greater than symbol? Whenever you give any element with a separator as a greater than symbol while defining the CSS, it means all the li elements which are the immediate children's. Now when I say something like this, any li tag which is a children of this guy, obviously that will be considered. But when you say this greater than symbol, that indicates all the li tag which is immediate children for this particular class will be selected. Okay, so on the top I go for the CSS greater than li. Okay, this is fine. The next part is this is okay. Yeah, now under this, for any li, at least I can say list style is none, even for outer side, outer also. And for this guy, I say class equal to single product. Okay. Now I say single product li list style is none, border is 1 pixel solid, margin of 5 pixel, padding of 5 pixel. Okay, reload the page. This is how it is coming. Now the single product margin is 5 pixel, padding okay, 5 pixel. Okay, this is how I have the product details. I say border as hash CCC. Okay, this is where I'm going to get the product details. Okay, now on the top, what all I wanted is, I have to show the product details here. I say product name, say something called as some laptop, product price 4,000, manufacturer Sony. What else? I can create an image also here. Let me get a product image of laptop. Images. Okay, let me take out this image, open image in a new tab. Oh, this is a base 64 image. Okay, let me make it as a local image. Save image as prod laptop. Okay, so I have these images and the product laptop.jpg. Now let us see how it is getting rendered on the page. This is how it is. The laptop is not coming. Why so? Oh, is it not?
Put the image folder, but don't create any image folder. That's why.
Oh, I directly added it. Okay, yeah, it has to be under the images folder. Let me make it as images. Okay, come back here and reload the page. This is how it is. Image coming out of the container. Let us control the width and height of the image. Globally, I use a tag here, width of 130 pixel. Okay, now if you reload the page, this is how the image is. Okay, so this is a single product. Now, what if you would like to go with the multiple products? You can simply have multiple allied tags inside. Okay, assume there are 4 products here. Reload the page. This is how the 4 individual products are coming. You can change the data. Right now, I just copied the same as it is. So this is how it is coming. So any questions up to this, guys? I know this is a static part, but still, any questions up to this guy?
Sir, that greater than symbol, I didn't get that part.
Okay, now if you see here, when I'm using, okay, let me create a separate example. I say something called as a div tag. Under that, I have some span. Okay, assume this is what I have. I have a simple div. Under that item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has come, and test is also some child is come. Okay, now when I say span background blue, can you tell me which are how many spans are going to get the background blue?
7, 6,
All of us.
6. All
6.
Obviously those are all the span elements because that is a tag based. Okay, now if I say this is some outside, now can you tell me how many spans are going to come? 6 or
All
7?
7.
Obviously the 7 span
7.
tags are going to be selected. Okay, now if I say div space span, now can you tell me what all the spans are going to be identified? How many?
6.
6.
All the syntax under div tag.
6.
Exactly. So whenever you say div space span, it is going to highlight, it is going to select all the span elements which are the children of the div tags, right? Now, my requirement is I don't want to highlight this span tag, whatever the children, this is not a immediate children, that is a grandchildren. Now, how do I skip that? Now, whenever you say greater than span, what do you mean by this? All the span elements which are immediate children of this div tag. Can I say that it is an immediate tag, immediate children of div tag?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The second one,
Yes, sir.
third one,
sir.
fourth one,
Yes.
fifth one. Is the sixth one is the immediate children?
No.
No.
That's it. That is what the meaning of the greater than symbol is.
Okay. So
Now,
one more thing, when you gave that greater than symbol, even though the list style was none, but it was coming some bullet point like that. So what is that? Like how that is coming?
we made it as list style none, right? Now, when
Yeah.
I say, if I remove that guy, when I put this guy, if you don't give the list style none, obviously it will come the list style. By default, list style is going to come, right?
No, sir. After giving the list style none, there was coming some bullet point side of the test.
Okay, now if you reload the page, now if you see the bullet is coming, yes. Why
Yes.
so? I haven't given any list style none. Now if I come over here, I say list style none, then only the list style will be removed.
Okay.
Okay.
That one of product manufacturer. Okay. I got that. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, Shreyas is having one more
Apart from
question. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, apart from that greater than symbol, is there any other symbol we can use it for any other purpose?
Yes, ma'am. There is something called as a tilde symbol, and there are some more symbols. I will talk about them. Right now, the scenario has come. I just showed you, but I'm going to show you what are the other symbols which you can use on the CSS classes. Okay.
Sir, two questions, if you don't mind me asking.
Go ahead, please.
So these are, for instance, you have added 4 laptops. What if you have added 6 or 7 laptops or more than 4, and there's an arrow symbol that comes on the right side that to go right? How do we put that arrow symbol over there?
You mean to say that the slider part, right? Okay.
Yes,
Say, for
yes.
example, there are 10 products on a single line. At a time, you can see only 5. Now you say previous and next button, so which will actually move these products, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for this, Gagan, I mean, I'm not saying that from CSS2 it is not possible, but if we use the CSS3, there are some predefined properties using which the animation stuff, including the slides, can be implemented more easier. I'm going to talk about the sliders when I actually come to the Bootstrap and when I actually come to the CSS3. Right now, I'm just parking your question. Is that fine?
Oh, perfect. No.
You have second question also, right? You said a couple of questions.
Yeah. Second question is, for instance, if we go any dev website or something, we see that before the next to the product name laptop, there is a symbol of the laptop. There is a symbol of the rupees. There is a symbol of the company. Can we add symbol manual, or we need to?
Sorry, I didn't get you. I mean, you mean to say on the web page you're asking, or?
So on the web page right now, if you want to add symbols, for instance, there's a product name laptop, and if I want to add a symbol of the laptop, if I want to add rupees as a logo, if I want to add a Sony, just a company symbol next to it, something. So can we add symbols
Is it
next
on the
to it?
header you're asking, or laptop you're asking?
On the next to the product name laptop and next to the laptop.
Okay. You mean to say that after the product, okay, you want to show some symbols or icons, we actually call it as. So in general, we have the predefined icon stuff, not by default within your HTML and CSS. There is something called as Glyphicon icons. Glyphicon. Components. So everyone is providing a lot of icons. Now, if you see here, these are the list of icons, what it is providing. And not just this guy. Now, when you go for Angular material, Angular matte icons. So if you see, these all are the list of icons. Say, for example, IO is there, but I want the list of all the icons. Animation list, matte icon list. So if you go down here, this is what the icons. So you're talking about these icons, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so actually, right, in order to draw these icons, these are not images, these are being drawn using the SVG containers, what we are going to cover in your HTML5. But you as a developer, if you really want to make use of them, you don't need to go for creating the SVG containers and all. If you make use of the existing frameworks, like Bootstrap is providing the list of icons, Angular is providing the list of icons. So if you use the particular framework, you just need to copy this guy that will automatically add an icon. For example, if at all I need to make use of this Bootstrap guy, okay, so you can simply go here. How do I get this component? Glyph icons. Glyphicon CSS. How to use. There should be an external CSS file. Okay.
We have to use links.
Sorry, someone, your voice is not clear. Could you please a bit louder?
Sir, we have link icon links, sir. We have to copy and paste it in image source.
Okay, yeah, that is there. But what I'm asking is not the simple XML. First of all, you need to include the external CSS files also, right? That is what I'm talking about. Now, if you want it, you can simply put this guy. That's it. See here, I just copy this. This is the search icon. So if you go into the product details, if you put over here, now if you come back and reload the page, no search icon. Why so? Because it is using a class called as Glyphicon. So first of all, you need to include that CSS file. So that's what I'm looking for. Glyphicon CSS path. How do we specify the bootstrap? Okay, I think the Bootstrap 4 is already supporting it. Let us see this. Bootstrap 5. Let us go with Bootstrap 5, download. Where is the CSS?
In source file, yeah.
Oh my God. He's changing the page every day. Okay. Yeah.
Sir.
So I can copy this
Sir?
guy. Yes, please.
Would that work?
Which one?
I've sent you a link on the chat for everyone, the CSS file. I don't know if that's acceptable or not.
Okay, but when you say max CDN, yeah, that is a third party one. But if you see, when it is Bootstrap, this is how it is. This is what they have added. I mean, that also works, but let me see this guy. Come on, Glyphicon CSS. Okay, have you added that Glyphicon part, what you have shared? Oh, that's a Bootstrap CSS, right? I think the Bootstrap CSS is not having this guy. Okay, where is that?
There is a download button on the top. I don't know if that's if that does anything.
Where is this one you're saying?
Yeah.
That is actually the Bootstrap download.
Oh, okay.
It is icon. Yeah, sorry. It is icon download only. Oh my God. Resume. Let's say showing folder. but this is not the glyph icon. This is the Bootstrap icons, I guess. Let's see this. Extract to icon, so and so. Icons. Where is this CSS name? This guy has to be built in order to make use of it. This has come as a node module. This is the bootstrap.js. Okay, this is the one what you have shared, right, Raj?
Yes, sir.
See, so if you see here, this is how you can see a search icon on the top. Okay, so this is how generally people put the icons. But if you inspect these guys, they will be using again the CSS3 concepts or some SVG tags in order to render the content in order to show that search icon. And if you want to explore more, or if you want some different type of icons, you just need to explore what all the icons it is supporting, and you just need to use the corresponding HTML. The icons will be rendered. So like this, if you want to put an icon for the laptops or some different products, you can actually go with that. So these things I just shown you as you have asked me, but I'm going to talk about all this when we actually come to the CSS3 and the Bootstrap API.
Sir, we can also add a font or some CDN.
Yes.
We can save in our public folder and apply the link. It will come to us.
Yes, we can do that. Those all things we will come to that, guys. I mean, most of the things, those all are external CSS libraries. So once we come to the HTML5 and CSS, then we'll go with this all Bootstrap or other material UI. You can have a check on. Okay, so whoever is asked this question of icon, so hope are you clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay, yeah. So one more question. Someone asked in the chat saying, what about the, what do you say, the base 64 icons or base 64 images? So that's a very good question, guys. What do you mean by base 64? Base 64 is text representation of an image. Text representation of an image, we call it as a base 64 images. Right now, if you right click on this image, open this image on this. So if you see, this is how the image URL is coming. If you delete this image here from this particular location, obviously you cannot access it. In the same way, say something called as laptop. If you go to the images, go for right mouse click on this, open the image in a new tab. If you see here, in order to open this image, you need to hit this web page, which is encrypted -tbn0static.com so and so, then only you see the data, right? Or then only you see the particular image. But now, what if I want to convert the image in a text format so that once I add an image, automatically UI has to get updated? So how do I do that? So if you go here, say for example, the first image, open the image in a new tab. So this is a base 64 image. If I copy this content and if you paste this guy, see, there is huge number of content. Let us see. See, this much of text content is being given. So what is this text? This text is your image representation. Now, if I copy this image, add into your browser, see here, image will be coming. So for this, it is not getting any of the servers. It is not getting the data from somewhere. It is converting that image into text format. Your browser is enough capable of converting that guy into image pack. So this is what we call it as a base 64. Did he answer your question, Shreyas? Shreyas, you are the one who asked this question, base 64.
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, nice. Okay, so coming back to your requirement. So this is what the requirement, what we have. We have some multiple products here. Right now, I'm just keeping the same product, but in general, we can have multiple products here. And this is how it is getting rendered on the page. Okay. Now the problem what you have. So can you tell me this guy, is it is a static page or a dynamic page?
Static
The,
page.
what we have created, is it is a static page or dynamic page? Obviously, it is static page.
Static page.
Okay, why so? Because I mean the car, we have just hard coded the details of the product here. Okay, assume one of the client asked you guys to create such type of web page. You guys have created, you have shared with him, and he is making use of it. Now, one day, instead of the product price 4,000, he would like to add the value, like he want to make it as 5,000. What do you need to do? Does he need to go to the HTML page and he need to do the change, have to replace the 4,000 with some other value, say something called as some 5,000, save this guy, come back here, reload the page. This is how it is. But do you really think as a client, can we expect from the client to come to the code and do the changes and see the reflection? Is it is possible from the client side?
No.
No, sir.
Obviously, no. It is never recommended that. I mean, in fact, like client never does this job of doing this all. So how do we solve this then? So this is where we never ever hard code the data within the HTML. We always make use of dynamic data. So the data is in the form of object format. We use the JavaScript code in order to render the content dynamically on the web page. Now, the very first question what I have is, can I generate whatever you see on the page, the UL tag, the LI tag, etc., stuff? Is it is possible to get created using JavaScript? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
sir.
We
Yes.
already found the powerfulness of the JavaScript, that it is capable of creating any type of HTML element, adding the CSS properties, adding the attributes. Anything can be done using your JavaScript itself. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm simply taking out this product details. Okay, first of all, let us see this. Okay, I have the simple product details container. I'll take out one LI. Okay, I have the simple empty UL tag here. Okay, empty UL tag is there. Now, if you save it, now if you come back and reload the page, nothing to be shown. Let me put some title just for info. Say some H3. We can say that guy as dynamic product details. Okay, save this guy, come back here, reload the page. Now you have the dynamic product details page. My requirement is I don't want to hard code this data dynamically. I would like to create this example. We have taken this LI dynamically. You need to create LI, you need to create UL, you need to add all these properties for this. So let us see how we are going to do this. Okay, dynamically. Okay, so the very first thing is, let me create a function where create or else, yeah, okay, where create product data or product details is equal to a simple function, arrow function like this. Okay, first of all, what I need to create here, which tag I need to create?
Well,
LI tag, right? So I say, how do you create any of the tag? What object or what method we have?
Document dot create attribute.
Get attribute or document dot create element?
create element.
Create element. Document dot create element. You simply say, which indicates you need to create a new LI element here. Okay, super fine. Next, after this LI, what I need to get created? UL tag need to be created here. Yes. Now I say where UL tag is equal to document dot again
Create element.
UL. Awesome. But if you see this guy, do I have a class for this UL tag?
Yes, sir.
So how do you add a class tag, class attribute for existing UL tag? I mean, dynamically created UL tag.
Set
Come on, what method?
Dot.
Set attribute method. We say class and what is the
Single
value.
product.
Okay, so what do you mean by this? Create an li tag, create a UL tag, and for the UL tag, we are even adding the class attribute. Okay, what next? Under that, I need to create another li tag here. Yes, now I say where li1 equal to document dot create element li tag. For this li tag, do I need to set this as an inner text here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now I say li1 dot inner text is equal to so and so. Okay, but if you clearly observe this, li1 should be children of what guy? Which element it has to be children?
UL.
UL tag,
UL tag.
right? I simply say UL tag dot append. Remember, we even discussed about the append method also, right? I did this. So we created a li tag and we added this li tag as a children to the existing UL tag. Okay, almost the same copy. I say second li element li2. Okay, this will be li2. Now for the second children, what is the value I need to add? We need to go with the product price. Now I go with the product price. Again, that guy has to be added to the UL. And if you clearly see, just let us see console.log UL tag. I want to see how the UL tag is looking like. Okay. And I need to call this method, save this guy, come back here and inspect this guy, go for console and reload the page. You see a UL tag got created. Oh, okay. It is showing it's like an object for us now. Okay. I mean, it got created, but it looks like an object for us. See, it's hard for you to understand. See, what all the children it is having, etc. and all. Let us go with Firefox once. Firefox. Okay, if you see here, what we got created, we created, oh my God, even this guy is showing in the same way. Okay, fine then. So if you see a UL tag got created having a class called a single product, under that there are two li tags, and where the first li tag is holding the value as the product name laptop and the second guy is having its own properties. So these things got created dynamically. Okay, and we need to create the third li. What was the third li? It is the manufacturer. This is li3. This is li3. This is li3. Okay, save this guy. And yeah, now you have all the three li tags. After that, I need to create the fourth li tag. I will say li4. Okay, but on the top of this li4, I have another image tag to be created. So I need to create another image tag here. Now I say var img tag is equal to document dot img. Okay, so image tag dot attribute. I want to set the source here, and what is the value? The value. Yes, please.
Sir, I have doubt.
Go ahead.
Sir, actually, when we're using PHP, so we can get all the data in server by using only one single line of code, right? So like that, can't we get the data in JavaScript?
Yeah, we can go for that, Sashi. Actually, I mean, that is what I'm going step by step. First of all, let us see the complex part, what it is, then we will convert.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So, so if you see here, this is how we created the image tag, and image tag has to be children of the li4, right? li4 dot append the img tag. And this UL li4 has to be the children of li. Super fine. We created the parent li tag. Under that, we created all the UL tag. And again, this UL tag has to be children of what? This li tag. Okay. Now I simply say li, or else I'll say li main. Okay, the main li tag, li main dot append UL tag. That's it. Okay. Now if you save this guy, did I call this method? Yes. Now if you come back and reload the page. Super fine. Now you have the UL tag got created with all the list of items. But if you clearly see, this UL tag should be, sorry, it's not the UL tag, it's the li main. The li main tag, whatever we have created, doesn't it should be the children of this guy? Yes. Now what I do here, I simply say document dot query selector dot so and so implies we already know this from the existing DOM structure. Find out an element who is having a class called as so and so. For that guy, dot append li main. Okay, dot append the li main. Now if you come back here and reload the page. Okay, the first, there is some error. I will talk about what actually that error is. So to fix this error, I have a very simple solution. Move this app.js at the bottom. That's it. Now, if you come back and reload the page, you see the product details getting rendered dynamically on the page. Okay. If you see the HTML code, we haven't added any type of static content here. Every other part got added dynamically through JavaScript. Agree? If you see here, go into the HTML, or else let's see. When you see the source code of this guy, nothing. We haven't added anything statically. Everything got generated dynamically. Okay. So before that, the first question, let me talk about why this app.js file is getting moved to the bottom of the page. The reason is, say, for example, if you see here under the app.js file, what I'm expecting, have we written a piece of code called select an element who is having so-and-so class and do this. So what generally happens is HTML file executes the content from top to bottom. It starts from here, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. When it is coming to the app.js file, it will execute this app.js file. It will call this method and it is trying to expect an element having a class called as so-and-so. Now, when you are at line number 11, the line number 18 not yet created, but from your app.js file, you are trying to expect an element who is having a class called as so-and-so. That is the reason it was saying an error. If you see, when I'm keeping the app.js file on the top, you should able to see an error like this. Inspect, go to the console. It says that cannot read the properties of the null, implies when I'm trying to find out an element who is having a class called as product details container, I'm getting it as null. Obviously, I cannot set the properties. Okay, so implies if at all you want to set the properties of any element, first of all, that element has to be created. So this is the problem when you have the top to bottom. Now, if I move this guy at the bottom, obviously what I'm going to do, I'm coming from one by one. I'll come to line number 18. I create this guy. Next time coming to app.js file, I'm expecting so-and-so element. By the time it is there, obviously I will render the element. This is how page is getting rendered. So any questions on this, guys? Dynamic rendering content. Any piece of question, let me know. No questions?
Sir, in some pages, in place of append, I had seen append child also. Is it both are same in work?
Append and append child both are same. Earlier we used to go with append because even this append is also adding as a children, right?
Okay, yes, sir.
Either append or append child both are same. Any more questions on this piece of code, everyone?
The use of dynamic insert.
What is the use of dynamic inserting? Okay, that's a good question. What if I ask you to render 1,000 elements? Can I simply make use of this content? Okay, let me do this. Right now, one mistake what I'm doing is you're just adding these values within this guy. No, instead of that, I will say var p data is equal to an object. Product name is laptop. I simply put this guy. I say price, say some 5,000. I say manufacturer, say some Sony. I say image. Okay, instead of hard coding these data within the code, can I put this here? Yes. Now, when you want to access this data, what you're going to do? You simply say object dot name. In the same way, if you want the price, we'll say object dot price. In the same way, we say object dot manufacturer. And in the same way, we don't go with the image. We say object dot image. Simple. Now, if you come back and reload the page, the product details are coming. Okay, fine. Boss, what is much difference? Instead of putting into the code, you have made it as a separate code. Okay. What if I want to render multiple product details? First of all, let us take some multiple product data. I will take array of products here. Okay, assume I'm having some array of products. Product 2. Okay, array is getting close. Let's call this guy as mobile. Say some pen drive. And this is, we can say it as some pen. Okay, let us get some corresponding images here. Mobile images. Open image in new tab. Yeah, this is not a base64 image. I copy this guy. I put into this guy. Let me pen drive image. Let us get one pen drive image. Okay, let us take some pen here. Okay, this is how I have n number of product details. Okay, now what more advantage I'm getting? If you clearly see this guy, this method is responsible for rendering a single product data. If I could able to invoke this guy multiple times for all the product data, what all I have, can I simply make the UI ready? So what I say is, I say product details here. Okay. I take this product details. You simply put a for loop where I is equal to 0, I less than product details dot length, I plus plus, like this. Okay, now you pass this guy individual product to this guy, product details of I. Now when you're passing this guy, someone will catch it. Now I will catch that guy as P data. Now whatever the data you get, it is getting added. Now if you reload the page here, on a single click, 4 product details got added. Yes. Now another advantage. Now I have 1000 product details. Do I need to rewrite the piece of code? No, right? So someone asked the question, what is the advantage of making it as dynamic? Do you see the advantage here? Yes or no? Yes, right? Okay. Now, another limitation or another thing what you still feel. Now, if I show you this code, if I ask you a question, boss, can you say that this page is 100% dynamic page? Anyone?
No, sir.
No. Can you tell me what is the reason you cannot say it as a 100% dynamic page?
For everything we have to add the data.
Okay. So the reason why what we have is the data what you're making use is still hard-coded data. Remember, earlier I was putting a question to you guys. A client asked this product details page, you created and you gave it. Okay. Now there is some problem and he want to change this product price from 5,000 to 6,000. Earlier, he was opening the HTML code. There he was doing the changes. Now he is going to the JavaScript page, wherever you have given the object. So something like this. This is what he is going to do. Now, if you reload the page, changes are getting affected. Boss, what is the difference? Earlier also, we were doing the changes within the HTML page. Now you're asking to do the changes in the JavaScript. Then where is the advantage your product, the user is going to get it? So this is where right now 80% of the code is dynamic. We have shown the powerfulness of the JavaScript that you don't need to create any type of element statically within the HTML. Using the JavaScript, every other element can be created. Okay. The only thing what missing here is the data. If you give the data using the JavaScript, every other part of the page can be created. Okay. The only thing is data has to be provided. Now, in order to provide the data, what all I need to do now? In order to give this data, now if we remove this data, data is not there. I need to get it dynamically. This is what the limitation, or this is not the blocker still we have. This part I'm going to cover when we go with the concept of Ajax. That is what the concept of Ajax is, guys. If you see client-side JavaScript code, etc. and all, these guys have become so powerful that every other content can be rendered dynamically. Only thing, the limitation what you have is we don't have the data. That is the reason we go with the concept of Ajax. We go to the server. From the server, we only get the data, either in the form of JSON or string, whatever it is. Only we get the data from the server. And that data, using it, we can create, using your JavaScript, we render everything dynamically on the page. Hope everybody understood the advantage of dynamically rendering the content on the page.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, someone said, sir, any question? No. Okay. So this is how we do it, guys. And you can still make it more, you can still optimize the code. Like instead of rewriting this multiple li tag, you can simply put a for loop. You can try for that. Okay. So for now, I just created an example with only the dynamic data. Okay. Now, another thing what I wanted is, I don't want to show the product details on load of the page. My expectation is I would like to put a button here, say some input type equal to say some button. We call that guy value is equal to load product data. Save this guy, come back and reload the page. This is how I have a button. Now, once I click on this button, now I would like to load the product data. So I don't want to put this guy. I don't want to call. Okay, let us say a function load data. Okay, I'm simply putting this code. Earlier, these guys getting invoked automatically, but now I'm keeping inside a for loop. Now I take this for loop, and now I say on click is equal to load data. As simple as it is. Now, if you save this guy, come back and reload the page. No product data. Now, once you click on the load product data, then only it is getting occupied. Okay. In this case, you don't need to keep the script guy at the bottom. You can keep it on the top. Why so? When it is coming from top to bottom, it will go to the line number 11. It is going to see what do you mean by app.js file. It is going to load all the content of the app.js file, and no one is calling any of the method. Okay, then fine, I'll go for the next step. Now, when you invoke this, when you click on this button, load data. So by that time, app.js is already loaded, right? If the user is capable of clicking on the button, in the sense, the page got loaded already. So if the page got loaded, obviously this data, this method load data is already there. Once you click on it, it will be automatically getting rendered. Any questions on this load product data? This is how it is coming. Okay, super fine. Now, the next part, what we have is, remember, I was talking about the event handling, right? Event handling, we have shown that anytime any action happens on the page, we call it as an event. If we could able to handle that, when something is happening, I should able to handle that. I mean, corresponding job has to be done. That is what we call it as event handling. How many types of event handling can be done in JavaScript or in a web page? Come on, we discussed this.
There's no limit.
However,
Two types actually. We have something called as static event handling and dynamic event handling. In case of your static event handling, we have already seen some HTML event attributes, isn't it? We have seen something called as on click. We have seen something called as on mouse over, on focus, on blur. Lot of input elements are there. Sorry, input element attributes are there. We make use of it. Now, what if I would like to go with a dynamic event handling? So when do you come with the dynamic event handling? What if an input button, you're creating a button dynamically? Now, obviously, on click also has to be added dynamically. Yes, boss. So in that case, what I need to do I need to dynamically tell the particular element what is the method which need to be invoked? Yes, that is what we call it as a dynamic event handling. Okay, so let us see how do we implement dynamic event handling in JavaScript. Okay, so let us see this. I say simple HTML page. Okay, let us say I have a simple div, some ID equal to some container. Okay, I keep this container, say some style, hash container, border 1 pixel solid, width of 120 pixel, height of 120 pixel, text align center. Okay, and now if you come back, open it in the browser, this is how it is. Now my expectation is once I click on this div guy, I would like to say some alert or something like this. What I can do here, I can simply say on click equal to say some show MSG. Okay, some method we can add. And for this guy, I put a script tag, say some var show message is equal to some arrow function, say some alert click happen. Save this guy, come back here, reload the page. Now, when I'm clicking on this container, I should able to see a pop-up. So event handling is happening. When the click action or click event is firing on the element, we could able to invoke the corresponding method here. Okay. Now, I don't want to put these guys statically. Dynamically, I would like to add an event handling to this element. So how do we do this? So that is where you have some predefined methods in JavaScript where we say document dot query selector ID container. So we say hash container. What do you mean with this? From the existing DOM structure, you find out an element who is having a class called as container. So for that guy, dot add event listener is a predefined method. Dot add event listener is a predefined method which is taking two parameters, where the first parameter is tell me what type of event you want to handle. You want to go with a click event, you want to go with a hover event, you want to go with a focus event. You don't need to say on click here. You simply say click. And the second thing is a callback method. We know that anonymous function which is not having any name, or we call this guy as a callback function. What do you mean by callback function? Function which is getting called automatically. It is not getting invoked manually. We are not invoking it. It gets automatically invoked when a particular action happens. Now I simply take out this alert guy and keep it over here. Now, if you come back here and reload the page, now I click on this guy. Am I getting the pop-up? Yes. Now, what is the difference between the earlier code and this code? Earlier, for the direct HTML element, you are saying what type of event has to be added and what method need to be invoked. But now by using the dynamic part, you can specify whatever the type of event by passing as a parameter and what is the callback method which need to be invoked. This is what we call it as dynamic event handling. Any questions? Anyone understood the difference between the static event handling and the dynamic event handling?
Yes, sir.
No questions? Okay, good. Now, another topic within the DHTML, what we have is validating the data. Okay, till now, we have seen how do we read the data from the user? Yes, fine. But when the user, I mean, someone, you guys have asked me the question, boss, say for example, there is a password which has been written. User is not entering the complete 8 characters, or user is not giving the small letters or etc. User has to give a number. So these are not been happening. So how do you put some validations? Validation in the sense to check the data before you insert or before you submit. To check the data being given by the user before you submit the data. I mean, either you save it or whatever you do, but we are going to check the data before we make use of it. That is what we call it as validating the data, because when the user is giving the data in the page, right, we can never trust the user data, because as the access is within him, he has the keyboard, he can give any type of junk data. Okay, then how do you make the user to not to give the junk data? How do you make the data to be, or how do you make the user to add only the valid data? That is what we call it as validating data. So let me write a very simple example. Without validation, how the page is working. With validation, how do you make it more powerful to stop the user to not to add the junk data? Okay. So let us say data validation.html. You know, in fact, the pages what we have already created, this is a student progress card. Open in the default browser. I say student name, Mr. Raj, age some 90, class some third class. I go for something like this. When I click on generate progress card, super fine. Things are working good. Okay. Now let us say some Tina, age some 10, class some 3, let us say some 90, 78. Here I'm giving some junk values. Okay. When I click on generate progress card, is it not breaking my application? Yes. And my total is not getting generated and my average is not getting generated. Why? The problem is you ask the user to enter only the valid data, but user is holding the keyboard. The keyboard is in at the user hand and he can give anything what he wanted. So how do you stop the user to not to give the junk data? How do you make the user to give only the valid type of data within the input elements? Okay, so that is what we are going to see, validating user input. Okay, so let me create a separate example. Instead of updating the existing student details, I will go with a separate example. Validating user data. Guys, please put some attention here. So this is useful here. We will be talking about the event object and extra information on the event and all. So I say enter first value, input type equal to text, ID is equal to fval. Enter second value, sval. Add values. Right now I'm not creating external file, but when you're practicing it, make sure you create it. Now I say where add values. So add values. Yeah, first of all, I say fval is equal to document dot query selector. Guys, not talking, please mute. Okay, now I say hash fval dot value. We know this, right? This is how you're going to read the data from the text box. And this is sval. I say sval dot value. Okay, we know how do we have to convert this guy into the integer. Parse int of fval. This is sval. Okay, fval is parse int of fval and sval is parse int of sval. Okay, now you say where total is equal to fval plus sval. Okay, and let me show the result back on the page itself. I say li id is equal to r block, result block. Okay, now I say document dot query selector hash ur block dot inner html is equal to total. Okay, save this guy, come back to the browser. Okay, let me put some look and feel changes. And here on click, I need to call this guy, right? Okay, let's put some CSS here. Li list style is none. Border is 1 pixel. Solid margin of 5 pixel. And padding of another 5 pixel. Okay. And for the UL, I say the width is 500 pixel and margin of 20 pixel and auto. Come back to the page, reload the page. This is how I have. Why the list style? Oh,
sorry, I missed the spelling.
Yeah, no, it is okay. Yeah, someone asked me a question.
Could you scroll down a bit? I think you might have missed something, or maybe I read it wrongly. Sorry, inside your code.
Okay, fine. This is the HTML code and this is the JavaScript code.
And okay, never mind. Yeah, okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us go into this guy. Now I'm giving the first value, say some 90, 78. click on add values, I should be able to see the result. And when I'm showing the result, make it as the sum is plus total. Now, if you come back and reload the page, I say some 99 and 23, click on add value. This is how it is. Super fine. So the flow is a happy flow. When the user who is using a web page, if we give the valid data, it is going good. What if he's not providing the data for the first value? He's clicking on add values, NaN, not a number is coming. Okay. In the same way, user is giving some characters or special symbols. He is clicking on add values. Again, NaN is coming. This is not recommended, right? So end user, he feel confusion. What do you mean by this NaN? Yes, he is doing the mistake, but he never knows that because it is a text box. I can use whatever the way you want, whatever the data I wanted. But if the data is wrong, we as a developer should able to show the corresponding error message or corresponding stoppers to the end user saying that is invalid data, or ask the user to give the valid data. So how do you put the validation for this? Okay. So before actually I talk about the how do we put the validation, any questions up to this guy? Hope everybody understanding, guys. If not, please let me know.
Yeah, understanding at the moment, sir.
Okay, anyone, everyone?
Yes, sir.
I'm expecting
Yes,
answer
sir.
from everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. So the next thing what I want to do is, if you see, when I say input type is equal to text, obviously you can put the text content, you can put the special symbols, you can put the numbers. That is what the text box is for. Now, what if I would like to restrict this text box only for numbers or only for characters? Actually, once you go to the HTML5, there is something called as input type equal to number. But as we are into the HTML4, I'm showing you how to validate with the HTML4 element itself. Okay. Now, my requirement is I don't want to allow the user to not to enter anything other than numbers. So how do we do that? For that, first of all, I want to go with one of the event handling. I say on key press is equal to validate data. Some method I'm doing. And now I copy this guy. Where validate data is a simple function. Console.log user entered data. Some message I'm adding. Let us see whether it is getting fired or not. Inspect this guy, go for console. Now, whenever, okay, reload the page, I go here. When I'm saying G, do you see user entered method is getting fired? So n number of characters I'm entering, I enter 25 to implies anytime you press a key on the particular input element, the corresponding callback method is getting fired. Okay, the on key press event. Okay, what is the next step? Okay, we have added the on key press validate data. I want to know what character user has pressed. Okay, I would like to see whether user pressed 1 or whether user pressed some symbols or whether user pressed some characters or numbers. What user has pressed? How do you know that? For that, there is a simple solution. There is something called a predefined object, something called as event. Now, if I ask you a question, document is a predefined or user-defined object?
Predefined.
Predefined.
It is a predefined object. Window is a predefined object. Like that, event is one of the predefined object which gets created every time we are going to generate an event on the page. Repeating again, event is one of the predefined object gets created every time when an action happens on the page. It is not mandatory to catch the event object because till now we could able to handle the events even without catching the event object. But now I want to catch the event object then I want to handle this. Now, if you see, that is what I'm doing. I'm simply catching this event object. If you ask me a question, from where you're getting this, automatically gets created whenever there is a key press happens. And now you can catch that object under this guy. Event is coming. Now let us see what this object is going to have. If you see what is that event object is holding this, let us inspect this and reload this guy. I say cap small a letter. You see, this is the event object got created. Event object will have extra information regarding the event being generated on the page. Now, when you're doing a key press, it is having the extra information, something like, is user is pressing the Alt key? No. Is user is pressing the control key? No. What is the key code, character code of this guy? Character code is ASCII value. Everybody knows that, right? For every character, we are going to have some ASCII value. 97 is the ASCII value of small letter and small z. What is ASCII of the small z? It is 122. In the same way, when you say caps A, capital A is 65. And if you give capital Z, the key code is 90. So anything between 65 to 90, we can close your eyes and you can see it is caps A to B. If it is between 97 and 122, you can simply say that it is small a to small z. Like this, anything, even for 1, there is a character code for this. See, for 1, it is 49. For 2, it is 50, something like that. Okay, even for symbols. Okay, now when I say something called exclamatory mark is also having its own ASCII value. There is that character code which is called as 33. Okay, so like this, event object is letting us or holding extra information. Hell lot of extra information is available under the event object, like whether click event is been, whether Alt key is been pressed or not, what character code has been pressed, what is the key which is being pressed, what location, etc. information. Along with, if you see, there is something called as a path. Current element is F value, input element which is having ID. That guy is a part of LI, that guy is part of UL, that guy is part of body, HTML, document, and window. So it is giving you the complete path also. What type of event which has fired? It is key press. At what time event got fired? So every other information regarding the current event which got generated will be part of the event object. Okay. And one main thing is the event object gets created multiple times based on multiple events which are happening. Now, once you see, for example, here on clicking of the add values, now I can simply say event object. Now you can catch that guy. But this event object and this object is completely different. This event object holds the extra information when click event happens on this input type button. This validate data method gets invoked when there is a key press event on an input element called as F value so and so. So this is what this is how you're going to catch the event object, which holds extra information regarding the current event being generated. So 100 events are happening on the page, 100 different elements. So 100 event objects gets created. Any questions here, guys? Event object. Okay, nice.
Nope.
Now let us see what actually now under the event object, you should be able to see the char code. Based on the char code, can I tell the user whether he is adding the valid data or invalid data? Yes, right? Can I simply say, so I already shown you if the ASCII value, what is that event?
Sir, I have a small doubt.
Go ahead, ma'am.
So in case if you have any parameters,
Okay.
Can we catch that event like this?
Yes, ma'am, we can do that. Now you say event, comma, something called as test. The event, comma, test will be happening, right? The first parameter should be event object. Later that you can go with any of the thing. But anyway, this guy should be some name. Now this test value will be passed into the name. Event object will be passed into this event. Got it, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, now we know that based on the character code, what event object is throwing, can I tell whether user is entering the number or character? Yes, right? Before that, let me show you something else. For example, when the user is clicking on the button, validate data is coming, right? At the last of this validate data, I say return true. Okay, validate data, I'm simply returning true. Let us see what is going to happen when I reload the page. When I'm pressing something, yeah, same thing is happening, nothing much change. Okay, I say return false. Save this guy, come back and reload the page. Now I type something, yeah, it's again happening the same. Then what is the difference? Whatever this value, what you're going to get, you return that guy to on key press. I say return space validate data. So what do you mean by this return? Whatever the value what you receive from this validate data method will be directly given to key press. Okay. And what is the value you're returning? You're returning as a false. Now if you reload it, you try to press something. I'm pressing some characters H, K, J, etc. Do you see the character getting typed on the page? No, not only the character, anything, whatever you type symbols, you type numbers, anything, it is not allowing you to enter the data. Point number one. What if I make it as true? Now, if you come back and reload the page, it is allowing us to do this. Did we got a simple logic here, boss? We got a logic that once we say return true, it is allowing us to enter the data. Once you say return false, it is not allowing us to enter the data. Now, only condition what you have is you simply check it. If the data what user is entering is a number, return true. If the data what user is entering is not a number, return false. Isn't it simple? Everybody understood the logic here?
Yes,
or
sir.
no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us see. So actually, right, what people will do, if I ask you only allow the numbers, then what I need to say? Small a to small z, which is 97 to 122. You need to put a condition. If at all, okay, let me put the condition here. If at all, event dot char, what was the key here? It is char code. Event.char code is greater than equal to 97 and event.char code is less than equal to 122. Okay. Can I simply say return false? Else return true. Can I do this or not? Let me remove this guy. Now, if you save this guy, reload the page. Now, if you see, I am entering the characters, not at all allowing us. I am entering the numbers. It is allowing me. But the characters, if I go to the uppercase, it is allowing. When I'm going the small case, it is not allowing. Because uppercase A to Z is having a different, what do you say? Different character code, right? Okay. So instead of, now what people will do generally, handle 965 to 97, handle 97 to 122. So you need to handle both the uppercase and the lowercase content. In the same way, you need to handle all the special symbols also. Instead of that, can I handle only 0 to 9? That will be better, right? When I say 0, what is the char code? 48. When I say 1, obviously it is 49. Yes. Now I say 9. What is that? Char code is 57. Can I simply put a condition if the char code is greater than or equal to 48 and less than or equal to 59? You simply return true, else you simply return false. Can I do this? Save this guy, come back over here and reload the page. Enter the first value, some 23, second value, some 90, add value. See, now we are going to get. But now if I'm trying to see, I'm trying to press some characters, but semicolons are happening. Why so? Is the semicolon is not getting the char code?
Sir,
Yes, please.
can't we just use a try catch?
Can't we just use the try catch? Try catch are used to handle the exceptions. This is user defined error. But yes, I mean, if you want to go with the try catch, you have to do that using the user defined exceptions concept, the throws keyword.
Yeah.
We can do it. But we haven't yet covered the try catch, right? We will be covering that in advanced JavaScript. Once I do that, we can try this guy. Okay.
Okay.
Or do we have any predefined function which can tell that whether the input text is a number or not, pure number or not?
In that case,
If int.
Sorry.
Can we try maybe if it's if int?
Okay, if it is integer or if it is number, so and so, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
There is no predefined method, but
we can write it.
We can write our own methods here. Okay.
I think something like is nan something was there, right?
Only is nan is there. Is not a number.
Yeah, is not a number.
Yeah, I mean it will return true or false. Yeah, I mean, you can use it in a reverse way. If it is false, that is equal to a number.
Yeah.
Then you can make use of it. Okay, so but that problem, you know what happens is user entering a character, reading the character, checking whether it is number or not. Again, you are telling the user it is not a number. Now user need to delete it. Now he need to write it. But what way we have handled? We are not even allowing the user to enter anything other than numbers, right? This is more better, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's it.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
can we do this? Like, we don't need to give return false. Like, we'll give return to true to everything. Like, whatever user will put, it will accept that. Then it will do the validate. And if it's not a number, then some pop-up will come like enter valid data or something like that. Can we do that?
Yes, ma'am. We can always do that. Now, if you see in the else part, you can do that. Now, in the else, I'm simply saying as a false. Okay. Now, what he is saying was user is not understanding why. Say, for example, what user is entering some characters, but it is not coming. He's not given any extra information. Now, can I do something like this? Can I put some simple div here? Say some id equal to fval error. Please enter only numbers. Okay. This guy, I give a class called as error, and I say dot error is font size of 11 pixel, color of color is red color. Now, if you reload the page, it is saying that please enter only the numbers. But my expectation is I don't want to show the error message on load of the page. It has to be hidden, right? Yes. So I say display none. Okay. Now I take this F error. What I will do in case of else part, I say document dot query selector hash F error dot style dot display is equal to block. Okay, and this guy has to be hidden because first time if the error is coming and later user is giving some correct value, you need to hide that guy. So that is the reason I'm doing this. Now if you reload this page here, now I say first value some 34, super fine. But when I'm giving some characters, see, it is automatically showing that please enter only numbers. Now I give some numbers now. Now it is hiding that input element. This is how you can handle it. Okay. Is that what your question is, Kumkum?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Next. Can I put the same properties for other input element also. I can copy this guy. I can say input s value also, same validations. Okay, so now this guy also doesn't allow us to, but you see the problem is there you are referring with f value, right? So that is the reason it is throwing the error. How do you differentiate? Use the same method, but different container, error containers.
We can use an if statement much earlier and then say if.
But instead, can I say this is sval error? But how do you differentiate? Now, along with the event, let us pass this guy also. This guy is fval error as a string. This guy is sval error as a string. Okay. Now you will get the ID also. In fact, instead of passing this just fval, later you are adding hash. Why don't you put this guy like this itself? Now, if you come back, now you got the ID. Now, instead of this guy, you simply say ID and ID. That's it. Now, if you come back, this is what we call it as dynamicness. Now, when I'm entering problem over here, this guy is throwing the error. When I'm entering the problem here, when I'm entering valid, only that input element is getting invoked. So this is what we call it as dynamically reading the data and dynamically validating the data. So any questions, guys? Anyone? I know it's a bit of tricky part, guys. So that is the reason, take some time and do some enough practice tomorrow. And if you have any questions on the top, please let me know. Now on the top, what I want you to, okay, anyway, like I don't want to extend it. It's already too much of time. Tomorrow, remind me, I'm going to talk about some password validation assignments and user data validations, icon. So those things I'm going to discuss. Okay. So just remind me, I'll give some assignments tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Fine,
sir.
guys.
Good
Once
night.
again, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Okay, good night, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.